All right. Thank you, Scott Hansen, again for the intro and another great week one of Red Zone. Welcome into our 50th episode number 18 of this year already, and counting 32 episodes last year. We're continuing to grind and help you guys win your leagues. This is the start of our normal schedule, so we will be live on Wednesday today, of course, and we will be live on Fridays moving forward. So make sure you're tuned in on Wednesdays and Fridays. Week one is in the books. We're going to bring back our favorite segments from last year. We're not going to talk about injuries this year. We all know, you guys know who is hurt and who isn't. So make sure you're just monitoring practice reports up until Friday and keep yourself prepared. But we'll be bringing back some calm or chaos and trust or bust. And for now, we're just going to hold off on trade targets just until we get to a couple weeks of the season. Probably shouldn't be making too many major moves this early. But we will mention some guys to buy low and sell high on throughout the trust or bust, calm or chaos, whatnot. But we'll be breaking down which guys you're trusting, which guys you should be panicking on. And as always, now some trivia with Q at the end. So let's get right into it. Calm or chaos. Start it off. Matt, your boys on the Green Bay Packers. What happened? What happened with them?
I honestly have no defense for them. That was just pitiful. But do not expect that poorest performance ever again this season.
Discount double choke.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Literally, they looked dismal. I mean, that entire team was bad. But I mean, people are saying Rodgers did it on purpose. That man doesn't go out there to lose football games. So don't expect this to happen again. Everyone should be just fine on this offense.
And I have too much stock in Aaron Jones, so I felt the effects through a couple of leagues. It's like once you saw Jordan Love in, you just knew that, and it was like the third quarter too. It was done.
Yeah, they just gave up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when Jordan Love came in, that game was way over at that point. It was already over from like the halftime pretty much. But Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, Robert Tonyan, the only one with double-digit points was Adams at 10.6, which is way less than what you expect from him. So it was a rough game all around for the Packers. Definitely stay calm on all of them. They get the Lions next week. If they all struggle against the Detroit Lions, then there's some chaos to be had. I'd still plug all of them into my lineups this week with confidence. Maybe if you have another option instead of Tonyan, I'd consider it. But I still think Tonyan should be a top 10 tight end. So.
Fun fact, not so fun fact, Aaron Rodgers finished quarterback 35 and only 32 quarterbacks.
Oh, dude, he sucks.
Yeah, bad. Justin Fields got like a random touchdown.
Trey Lance.
Yeah, Trey Lance.
And Mariota.
Yeah, Mariota was in there too. That was weird. But he ended up getting banged up. All right, let's move on from the Packers. Stay calm on them. But for calm or chaos on Josh Allen, 19.2 points against the Steelers, 270 yards, 1 touchdown, 44 rushing yards.
You're calm.
It's not horrible.
You're calm because
it's not horrible.
The Bills they don't know how to run the ball, and they choose not to. So Josh Allen is going to be doing everything. Singletary,
Singletary looked good.
Do
not try and come at my mans like that. And I think if they can get the running game going, that only helps Josh Allen so much.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's Josh Allen's worst game in a while since week 12 of last year. But 19 is really not that bad. You're 100% staying calm. This was arguably one of the best defenses in the league, if not the best. And he was still able to put up a decent, solid stat line. So I'm staying calm on Josh Allen, no doubt. Don't overreact to week one will probably be the theme of this entire calm or chaos segment.
We got to get a little juicy.
But there are
we will.
You could make an argument to stay calm on anybody.
Yeah. But there are some people that I'm a little nervous on. But we'll get into them. Let's keep going with the quarterbacks here. Ryan Tannehill against the Cardinals only had 16 fantasy points, 212 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 turnovers, and only 2 carries for 17 yards, and added another rushing touchdown. Is this calm or chaos for him?
You're calm just because of what he has, but it is concerning because the Cardinals D isn't that good.
Dude, that O-line looked bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
Chandler Jones was feasting.
5 sacks.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern right now would be the O-line. Like Derrick Henry could not find any holes to run, although he's more of a second half of the season guy. But yeah, Ryan Tannehill did not look good. They could not get the run game going, so they could not get their play action going. So it was just struggle bus all around. I'm staying calm on Tannehill. He still has all the weapons in the world. This team is still probably going to be a playoff contender. So I think they'll bounce back, but just be cautious. I believe they have a tough matchup again next week too.
That was my Super Bowl pick. It looked so
It was.
bad.
It was.
They'll still be good. They start off slow.
They'll be all right.
They don't have a tough matchup. They got Seattle next week. So, I mean, their defense looked better, but still not that good. So hopefully they can bounce back.
Yeah. If Taney's able to take care of the ball, you take away those 3 turnovers, that's 6 more points, and he's sitting at 22. So
Yeah, and you're definitely more comfortable there. All right, last quarterback here, Justin Herbert of the Los Angeles Chargers, only finished with 15.38 fantasy points, 337 yards, only 1 passing touchdown, and 2 turnovers. It's calm or chaos on Jay Herbo.
It's
He
calm
played a real
because-
good defense.
Yeah,
Real nice
expected this.
defense.
We were all a little low on him, but in real football, he's really good because he won the game. But fantasy, this isn't a really good performance.
Yeah, I mean, he threw 47 passes. It was just the touchdowns really weren't there. This was pretty much a low-scoring game. The defense was pretty good. They were able to move the ball up and down the field, but could not really capitalize once they got to the red zone. So
It wasn't even really like all of them. Him and Keenan Allen are already they've got it going.
dude,
and
Mikey
go ahead.
Dubs.
Yeah,
Mikey
he's-
Dubs. Oh, he had a couple costly drops there though. But so, I mean, if the receivers are able to hang on to the ball and help my man Jay Herbo out a little bit, the day doesn't really look so bad for him.
Someone explain to me why Austin Eckler got 0 targets.
Bro,
Country.
what is that about?
They got to target him. They got to keep him involved. He's one of the best pass catching running backs. And
The
they threw the
best.
ball to him 0 times. So
That's why I
that's got to
drafted him.
change. And I think that'll change too. But I'm staying calm on Herbert and this entire offense. Washington has a really good defense. But that left tackle, Rashawn Slater, looks really good. So I think Herbert's going to be protected. He locked up Chase Young that whole
Oh
game.
yeah.
A lot of these
Locked
players
him up.
did better last year without the preseason, so I think we just need to take the preseason out.
Just get rid of it. Maybe. All right, let's move on to some running backs. Start with the cream of the crop, Saquon Barkley. 3.7 points, 10
Yeah,
carries
Matt.
for 26 yards, 1 catch for 1 yard on 3 targets.
Let's start with where you took him.
Number 4 overall. That's I didn't take him number 4 overall for week 1.
And he couldn't even get 4 points.
So,
Well,
if you want to make a
listen.
case for chaos and a week 1 guy, this would be the one because he's shown that this team has shown no signs of improvement on the offensive line.
I mean, it's his
Jason
first
Barrett.
game back from ACL tear. Did you really expect him to go for like 20 carries, 110 yards, and 2 touchdowns?
Not
I
average
wanted it,
but it wasn't
2.6
gonna happen.
yards.
Wishful thinking.
Was he on a snap count? Was he? I don't
Yeah,
know.
he was.
He played a good amount of the snaps, though. I don't know the exact snap counts. Some of them haven't been fully released at this point. But
There was a total of 14 carries by the Giants running backs.
yeah, 10 of them went to Saquon. It was just
Variance.
honestly I'm not just concerned about Saquon. I'm concerned about that Giants offense as a whole. Like the Broncos have a pretty good defense, but I wouldn't consider them like deadly. Like I think you can beat that defense. The secondary is pretty good, but I think the Giants offensive line is still just as bad as it was last year. They really haven't improved it that much. Daniel Jones looks rough. So that team just looked like Jason Garrett. They haven't scored more than like 20 points in a while. I think like in 6 or 7 games.
Jeez.
Like in the last 17 games, I think they've scored less than 10 times. So it's not looking good. It's not looking good. But
Wait until Saquon can get 20 plus touches under his belt.
don't
Just wait.
go trading away Saquon right now. Definitely
Please
a
don't.
buy low if you're looking to trade. I would
I'll look at his week 2
would want
matchup.
Saquon. But
Yeah, he has another tough matchup, but
In the
I
range,
mean, iron sharpens iron. Q.
Sure.
Oh, man.
he is made of iron.
the volume will come as he gets a little bit healthier as well. I think he'll get more touches. So I'm staying calm.
All right,
All right.
sure.
Got another elite running back here. Not as bad of a performance. Derrick Henry, 10.7 points. Not really what you expect from him, but an okay day at the office. 17 carries for 58 yards, 3 receptions for 19 yards on 4 targets. Is this calm or chaos on the end?
Dude, if anything, I'm happy he saw 4 targets.
I was about to say.
I was about to
say
the most he saw last year was 5. So him getting one below his season high of last year, that's a very good sign.
Honestly, the Titans defense looked bad, so I think this is a good sign for like the Titans overall. Like in most games, they're going to be in shootouts. If like that offense gets rolling, they should be fine. And they're going to have to put up a lot of points. So Derrick Henry's definitely going to be involved. And 4 targets in this game where they're down, he might become a little bit more involved in the passing game. I know they did mix in McNichols here or there, but barely. Like Derrick Henry's still going to be that guy. So I'm staying calm. I'm sure.
Happy, yeah.
Yeah. I'm okay with 10 points from Derrick Henry week 1. Like that's something I can swallow. Something I can't though. Ezekiel Elliott. 5.9 points, 11 carries for 33 yards, and 2 catches for 6 yards. Calmer chaos on our boy Zeke.
I don't care who he was playing. That's chaos.
Yeah. You're calm on the rest of the offense because the rest of the offense produced.
No.
Because they're going to be down and
And,
they're going to be throwing. And when they throw,
there's-
it's not going to Zeke.
There was a point in time in the game where they chose to put Tony Pollard in over Zeke.
Yeah, that was weird. I did not expect that. I don't know why Pollard played so much.
So
Yeah.
Zeke's like on his way out. He's pretty much useless or not as valuable to them
Drop
anymore.
All right.
Just
I think we're
do
going a
not
little
drop
off the
Zeke.
rails.
Do
I'm
not
staying.
drop Zeke.
I'm giving
Drop him
Zeke
in
another
real life.
shot. I'm definitely
Why?
a little bit nervous.
You hated him coming into the season,
Look,
and he's
I'm a
just
little bit
proving,
nervous.
He's just proving you right.
He is, and I'm not mad that he played poorly. And I also liked Tony Pollard coming into the season. I like Tony Pollard's talent. I think he's a better pass catcher. And for the way this offense is going to be throwing in most games, Pollard's probably a better fit to be on the field most of the time. But I still think Zeke has a lot of talent. I don't think he's just completely lost it at this point. He was good last year while Dak was in. I think the Bucs defense did play a role in his poor performance this time. They kind of just abandoned the run game after like the first drive, second drive. So I'm staying calm. I'm giving him another shot, but I'm a little bit more nervous on Zeke than the other guys. Zeke and Saquon are probably 2 of the ones I'm the most nervous on.
All right.
All right. Next guy here, rookie Steelers running back, Naji Harris, 5.9 points. He had 16 carries, so he did get some volume for 45 yards, but only 1 catch for 4 yards on 3 targets. Is this calmer chaos on the rook?
Well, I guess you can be asked with volume.
Chill.
But
Chill.
you are calm. But that wasn't. I mean, that's what we said on Thursday or whatever the last pod was. The Bills, one thing they did upgrade on their defense was the line. So that showed, and we know that the offensive line of Steelers is not too great. But who's going to take his job? Unless he gets hurt or somehow his job's taken, you're not worried.
Yeah. The Bills defense is definitely pretty solid. I'm staying calm on Naji Harris too. As much as I was against him, I just thought his ceiling was, his draft hype was a little too high. But Naji Harris still has talent and he's still going to get the volume. So you're going to keep rolling him out there. He's got some favorable matchups coming up the next few weeks as well with poor run defenses. So keep plugging Naji Harris in for the next couple of weeks unless the poor performances continue. All right, Matt, T-Gods, your boy James Robinson, what's going on? 8.4 points, only 5 carries for 25 yards. He did have 3 catches on 6 targets. So 6 targets is positive for 29 yards. But what's going on? We expected more.
Dude, why did they get blown out against the Texans? They're trash. It doesn't make any
Meyer is
sense.
an idiot.
The Texans looked so good and the Jags looked so bad.
Yeah.
He didn't get rushes, obviously, because they were down so much. But, that whole team is chaos for me right now. They look terrible.
I don't think the coach makes it to the end of the season. I think he quits because he realizes he's not NFL. He just can't do it.
And he quit.
What the hell are you doing? That's like speculations of him quitting just because he can't handle it. He realizes it's not his thing. How are you gonna not run your workhorse guy who was top 5 last year? Down or not? There's no excuse.
Dude, Carlos Hyde had 9 carries. James Robinson had 5. Why is Carlos Hyde out carrying James Robinson
This
from
guy
last year?
thinks he has a
He
college.
thinks
offense.
he's a genius.
Urban Meyer, I'm nervous about him in the NFL. He seems like the next coming of the Chip Kelly kind of coach.
Yes. I was
There's
thinking
There's
the
been
same
reports out of
exact thing.
training camp too that all the team is disinterested. They don't like him. It has not looked good for the Jaguars. Definitely nervous about
He
this
might
team.
as well quit while
But-
he's ahead.
I think what we
he's
saw.
behind, but
I think what we saw is going to be pretty consistent for the Jaguars a lot of this year. I think they're going to be down a lot. So Trevor Lawrence might have to throw 50 times a game. I think that bodes well for James Robinson in the passing game. Only 3 catches on 6 targets. He'll definitely catch more of those moving forward too. So,
and he played more than 60% of the snaps, so he's going to be on the field. You just have to hope that
they
players
use him.
are drawn up for him.
Yeah, they need to get him more involved in the offense. He carried them last year on his back. Get James Robinson the ball. All right, next one here, probably someone that didn't get started in a lot of leagues, but a couple of you definitely did, and it hurt a lot. Ronald Jones, negative 0.6 points. 4 carries for 14 yards, but lost a fumble, and Bruce Arians sent him to the doghouse. This is Calmer Chaos on Rojo.
If the season ended today, Matt would now know why Fournette's ADP was higher. Also, I didn't know that he changed his number to 7, so I think he's going to be a different breed.
I mean, what if Fournette fumbled?
Easily would have been.
He'd probably go to the doghouse too.
Dude, I thought they were going to go back to Rojo or switch to Giovanni Bernard after Fournette tipped the ball into the interception. I was like, dude, you got to catch that ball. But they did already come out and say Ronald Jones will be the starter this next week. So that gives me some confidence to stay calm. I'm not putting him in my starting lineup until I see it. Definitely still nervous, but I'm staying calm for now just because they still trust him to be the starter next week. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we don't know what its role is going to be with playing the Falcons on Sunday, who they could easily just run all over.
Yeah, he's definitely a risky flex play at best right now. Too much risk involved for me, but still staying calm, still keeping him on my bench. Definitely don't drop him at this point. 2 guys that are really confusing this past week, Calmer Chaos, Trey Sermon and Zack Moss. They were both marked inactive before the game as healthy scratches. What is going on with this during week 1? An hour before kickoff, these guys get marked inactive.
Bills running backs are irrelevant to me. I'm sorry, Matt. They could both be marked inactive and the game would go the same way. Trey Sermon, though, I'm not worried just because now Mostert's out, so he has to play.
Did you not see Eli Mitchell playing on Sunday?
Yeah, but we
not
know
a thing
from history, the 49ers, they're going to run a carousel of running backs. They still have Jermichael Hasty, who had a touchdown, I believe. And why not use the guy they drafted early?
Well, yeah. Trey Sermon's definitely going to get activated this week just because Raheem Mostert obviously is now out for the season. But Trey Sermon, I've seen conflicting reports. I've seen people saying that it was talent and he simply got beat out. But I'm like, where were the reports of this during the offseason?
Yeah.
Why is nobody talking about this? I saw reports just saying that maybe he did something that got Kyle Shanahan rubbed him the wrong way or something. I think he'll be back this week. I think he'll get his chance in this offense. I don't think he's fully gone away. I wouldn't drop him, but definitely more nervous now that Eli Mitchell looked really good. Hasty looked all right too. But I still think he'll be moved into this carousel of running backs. But Zack Moss, I don't know what's going on there. I mean, they don't have that much running back depth to be just marking him inactive. So that makes me a little bit more nervous than Trey Sermon because he's been in the league for a couple of years. He's not a rookie. I don't know what to do with Zack Moss at this point. I think you hold him on your bench and see what happens next week. But if he keeps being marked inactive or if he plays and is active and doesn't get any touches, it's definitely going to be droppable within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, their backup, Matt Breida.
No.
Would you?
Matt
Yeah,
Breida.
they liked
spicy.
Matt Breida, even though he had 4 carries for 4 yards or something. I did see a report that they just liked Matt Breida more as the backup, and that's why they marked Zack Moss inactive, which crazy to me after Zack Moss was better at the end of last season, but stuff we don't see in training camp. You never know. Would you guys drop Zack Moss right now for Eli Mitchell on waivers?
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Tyson
100% no.
Williams?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's yeah.
I just feel like this is the trap. Everyone's going to go all in on Eli or Mitchell. And then
Yeah. There's definitely a little bit of a trap 5 with Eli Mitchell just because came out of nowhere, but I mean, he looked good. I'd rather take a chance on the guy.
I'll fall into the trap.
Yeah, I'll take a chance on that guy after seeing how bad that Bills backfield was all of last season and the fact that Moss was marked inactive. I wouldn't drop Sermon just yet. I'd rather hold him just because he's a rookie, but Moss, if those guys are out there, I'd pull the trigger. All right, let's get into some wide receivers. Cue your boy, Mr. 1000, Mike Evans, 5.4 points, 3 catches for 24 yards on 6 targets. Why was he not involved in that crazy Bucs game?
I don't know the game plan. But I do know. I mean, Mike Evans has shown us that he can score in this offense. Week 1 just happened to not be his week.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a telltale sign of this team moving forward. I think one of these guys is just not going to be involved. Like, they'll be involved, but they're one of these guys. There's just not enough volume to go around. Tom Brady threw the most passes he threw in a game, more than any game last season. 51 passes.
What'd I say?
See, he's on track.
So Tom Brady looked good, but Mike Evans still was unable to get points. So I think either him, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Gronk, somebody's going to be the odd man out every week. We thought it was going to be Gronk more often than not, but Mike Evans this week just did not get the love. I actually think he was shut down a little bit as well. Trayvon Diggs looked good covering him. He looked frustrated, but we shall see on Mike Evans. Next one here, T-Gods, calm or chaos, Brandon Ayuk. 0 catches, 0 yards on 0 targets. To be fair, they did say that the fall in the depth chart was injury related, kind of like a last minute thing. They just thought he could play, and maybe he got gimpy on the first couple plays that we didn't see. I don't know, but what's going on here with Ayuk?
It just hurts that what Debo did on the other side. Well,
Doesn't hurt me. That felt
It
good.
should be the other way around.
Dude, they gotta use Ayuk. I don't think he's gone. I don't think he's disappeared.
No way.
Not a shot. I do think last year they did use Ayuk in that Debo Samuel role when Debo was out. Debo was out a lot more last year. But I do think they'll find ways to get both of these guys involved. I think it has to do with the hamstring. That's what I'm banking on. It has to do with the hamstring. I have him on a team. It's got to be the hamstring. Ayuk is super talented. They drafted him in the first round for a reason. It's got to be the hamstring.
And he may not be on this list, but George Kittle's another one. They're just
Didn't have a great outing.
But I mean, we'll just give it to Debo for
Debo ate it all up.
He ate it all up.
Him and the running backs.
And
We'll talk about Debo later.
I would say Kittle will make it up this week against the Eagles, but with the Eagles, the way they played against Kyle Pitts, a different breed, but still.
I'll put Kittle a little over rookie Kyle Pitts, especially that Falcons offense looked rough. But yeah, Ayuk, stay calm, but I'm not starting him this week, probably until I see him back on the field fully healthy and ready to go. Because we thought he was fully healthy and ready to go this week, and it just didn't happen. So I want to see it before I can trust him again in my lineup. You guys agree with that?
Yeah, I would do the same thing.
Yeah, just plug in somebody else.
On my bench.
It's on my bench too on another league. It hurts because you drafted.
It's making me have a dilemma at flex. I thought he was going to be like a set it and forget it flex, and now I'm just shit out of luck, man.
Yeah, me too. I hear you there. All right, another wide receiver coming back from injury last year. Cortland Sutton only had 2.4 points, 1 catch for 14 yards on 3 targets. What's going on with Cortland Sutton? Calm or chaos here?
I really thought he was going to be used a lot. I thought he was going to be the number one.
But now he could be because Judy's out.
Yeah, that's why I'm staying calm. I probably would be closer
That's
to chaos.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason.
Judy was feasting. Judy was feasting.
Yeah, I would have been closer to chaos if Judy was healthy. But Judy being out for however long he's going to be out, like 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Definitely stay calm on Cortland Sutton. Keep him on your lineup. Maybe a little risky to start him this upcoming week, but if you want to go for it, go for it.
The offense is better than what I expected. Maybe it's because they played the Giants, but Teddy doesn't make mistakes, and he doesn't really throw deep.
Mr. Conservative.
He makes plays.
Yeah, he makes plays. The Broncos look pretty solid overall, aside from Cortland Sutton.
Noah Fant, that was a fluky game.
Yeah, we'll talk about Noah Fant. He's coming
fluky.
up. He's coming up. All right. Calm or chaos on Julio Jones, Titans wide receiver, only had 5.9 points, 3 catches for 29 yards on 6 targets.
Gotta stay calm on Julio.
Relax.
It's Julio.
Yeah,
Relax.
it's Julio.
Also, he might have a fire under his ass because Mike Vrabel called him out on some unsportsmanlike conduct and said, we don't do that dumb shit here.
Yeah.
Probably not necessary, but Julio maybe he comes back and cooks his next opponent.
Yeah. I'm staying calm on Julio. It's Julio. Even though he's a little bit older.
Yeah, give him time
Julio.
to get adjusted to the offense.
Yeah. That whole offense looked out of sync. I think they bounced back this
Nets.
week. Lock in Julio again this week in your lineups.
Winning the Super Bowl.
Yep. All right.
Dude, chill.
What we might have feared earlier in the offseason before we started jumping on the Jamar Chase hate train, Tyler Boyd only had 6.2 points, 3 catches for 32 yards on only 4 targets. This is calm or chaos on Boyd here.
This is
I'm
chaos.
so-
This is what we thought was gonna happen. We've been
Jamar
saying that.
Chase looks so much better than we all expected. I mean, we were all bashing him. Couldn't catch a ball in the preseason, but it don't matter in the preseason. He showed out in his first game, and I do believe that now Boyd will be the odd man out. As surprising as it is, he was all reliable last year. He was very solid, him and T. Higgins. But now I think it's going to be the Higgins and the Jamar Chase show in Cincinnati.
Yeah, when I originally made that Instagram post in the summer on who do you think the Tiger King would be, I was on the Chase train.
Me too.
Then I was convinced by you guys to hop off.
I convinced myself off too. There was so much out there that just made me nervous. The year off from football, the drop issues, saying weird things about what the football looks like.
Why did he say that? Dude? That was weird.
He was going crazy.
Wild.
I don't know what was going on. But he routed Patrick Peterson like he said he was going to, and he had a really good game. So I can't complain. Jamar Chase looked good. Tyler Boyd, I'm a little bit on chaos here as well. I mean, it is week 1, could be more involved, but
just
they threw
relax.
a lot. So.
I think it's going to be like very up and down for those 3 receivers, just like the Buccaneers receivers. I mean, there's only so much room for production with 3 good receivers. So week in and week out, somebody's going to have to be left out.
Or if you consider
but like
Mixon.
that game went to OT too, didn't it?
Yeah,
And
it
pretty
did.
deep into OT.
almost tied. Yeah,
And
the
he
Bengals
still
thing.
only saw 4 targets.
yeah.
That's bad. I'm
Yeah.
a little chaos, big chaos on him. Big chaos.
Yeah. I'm a
Definitely
little
chaos.
chaotic.
Joe
I'm a little
Mixon has the
chaotic
same
here.
amount of
But there's
targets.
reason to
There's
believe.
there's reason to keep him on your bench. I wouldn't buy low on him though. He's not someone I'm looking to add to my team right now.
Yeah, no.
I'm more nervous than not nervous. All right, last wide receiver, Marquez Callaway, the preseason phenom, 2.4 points, 1 catch for 14 yards on 2 targets. Expected to be the only Saints wide receiver and was pretty much irrelevant. What's going on with Callaway here?
This whole game, bro, Jameis Winston had 130, like 100 something yards and a 34 QBR and threw 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Stupid.
That was such a
Stupid.
weird game. The Packers pretty much just shot themselves in the foot all day long, turning the ball over, going for it on 4th down and turning the ball over and just setting up the Saints to just throw touchdown after touchdown. I don't know what happened here. I'm a little bit chaotic, but I'm pretty calm here just because he did play a really solid cornerback as a very young number 1 wide receiver on the Saints here. So we'll see what happens moving forward. I'm staying pretty calm on Callaway, but I'm a little nervous. There's part of me that's like, this is a little chaotic. 2 targets is a little scary.
I was wrong about the QBR, but he did only throw 148 yards.
Yeah,
And 5
on
touchdowns, that's
14 completions, 5 touchdowns. Pretty much more than 1 out of every 3 passes was a touchdown.
That's so. How does that happen? I don't. It's so. It makes me so mad.
That's
I don't know how it
Jameis.
happens. Such a weird game. Yeah, I think I'm writing that whole game off as big giant fluke. But
They killed my parlay. Sorry, I had to get it off my chest. They
Had to get it
killed
out.
it.
Yeah.
That's the
All right.
worst feeling.
It actually says because of that game, Jameis is on pace for 80 touchdowns.
85 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's and only 2,000 yards.
Oh my god, that's
Derrick
crazy.
Henry had more
Yeah.
than that running the ball.
Yeah, very weird game.
2,300 yards. That's
All right. Tight ends, couple of tight ends to get through here before we get into some trust or bust. Mark Andrews last Monday night, 5 points, 3 catches for 20 yards on 5 targets. What's going on with Mark Andrews? Calm or chaos?
I said it.
What'd
He's
you say?
always spreading the ball.
I
You
said
around.
he's
did
gonna
not
be
like
out-
Mark Andrews. He
He's
did
gonna
say
be like
that.
outside the top 8.
I think
or
he
number
said
8.
top 7 or something.
No, good call. I really liked them. I didn't think that
Lamar has
Lamar would be
shown
using
no-
his receivers like that.
He has shown no sign of improvement throwing the ball. Mark Hollywood Brown, he looked all right.
Sammy Watkins even looked decent.
But Mark Andrews,
I'm staying calm on Mark Andrews.
Yeah,
He-
You gotta stay calm on him, but
Dude, he
that
caught
was-
I mean, he didn't, it was like a fingertips, just over his fingertips, like a 40-yard pass from Lamar Jackson. If he caught that ball, 4 catches, 60 yards, you would have been perfectly fine, perfectly calm. He's going to be involved. 5 targets isn't as much as I want. I want to see closer to 10 targets a game for Mark Andrews. They need to get him more involved in this offense, but I
and that
definitely,
game went
that
deep
was just a
into
bad
OT.
game. Yeah.
Like he should have had more than 5 points.
he should have.
They got to
that-
target him more. They got to put him in the game plan more.
He should have had that goal line attempt rather than Willie Snead, who had to
Yeah.
go right through his hands.
Yeah, that's any. Yeah. kind of a weird game all around. I really thought the Ravens were going to handle that one. Maybe week one jitters. I don't know what's going on, but staying calm on Mark Andrews. Keep plugging him in. Last tight end here, Kyle Pitts, rookie tight end, 7.1 points. Everybody expected the breakout of the century against the Eagles linebacker core. 4 catches for 31 yards on 8 targets, though. Calmer chaos here on Pitts.
Super calm.
Yeah, he had 8
Never
targets.
been more calm.
Never been more calm on a team than the Falcons right now.
Maybe
for
not the
me
Falcons.
as a whole?
Yes, as a team, yes.
You guys loves the Falcons, man.
I do. I don't know why. I think
You've
Kyle
been
Pitts
their
talking to
colors.
Cody too
Kyle Pitts is
much.
100% calm for me, man. 8
Oh, but-
targets. The volume was there. Hayden Hurst, maybe he got involved a little bit, but Kyle Pitts is fine. He's fine.
That offense did not move the ball after like the second quarter.
It's fine. It was a fluky game. I'm telling you.
Or the Eagles are just that good.
Go Birds.
For defense is elite.
All right, let's get into today's sponsor, Thrive Fantasy app for iOS and Android. Thrive Fantasy app is a daily fantasy sports app, and guess what? Football's back. Download the Thrive Fantasy app. You can do player props, in-game props, everything like that. If you download the Thrive Fantasy app today and use our promo code SUPERFB, that is SUPERFB, you deposit $20 or more, you'll receive an instant $50 bonus. Go check out the Thrive Fantasy app today. Download it. Super FB, win yourself some money. All right, let's get into some trust or bust. Starting with QB1 for the Birds, Jalen Hurts, 34.76 points, 27 of 35 passing, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns, and added 62 yards on the ground. You trust in Jalen Hurts as your QB1 moving forward?
Big
Hell
trust.
Yeah.
Big trust.
Easy trust.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the Falcons is a favorable matchup, but I'm trusting Jalen Hurts moving forward right now.
For
No
sure.
doubt.
I
He can
mean,
do it
maybe a
all.
little bit of bias, but I mean, he looked good
Wearing
passing the
his
ball.
jersey.
Didn't even rush for a touchdown. Had 3 passing touchdowns. It was nice to see him get a good amount of the receivers involved. So, I mean, as long as he's able to spread the ball around and keep that offense moving, he'll be just fine.
And
Because if
then-
he finds himself in trouble, he'll be able to do it with his legs.
And the offensive line they were healthy, so that helped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Offensive line looked good. He looked protected. And even when he did get in trouble, he looked cool, calm, and collected back there, moved over to the side of the pocket. And he didn't always go for that run. He was moving the ball, moving out of the pocket, and then still looking downfield. So Jalen Hurts looked good. Want to see what he can do in a tougher matchups upcoming, but definitely take that week 1 performance. Lock him in as a QB1 right now. Next quarterback, we just mentioned him, threw 5 touchdowns and only 14 completions. Jameis Winston, 39.62 points. He also had 6 carries for 37 yards. Are you trusting Jameis Winston as a quarterback option right now?
How can you trust someone that threw the ball 20 times, not even 150 passing yards, and had 5 touchdowns?
Yeah, that's like
The 5
How do you trust that?
touchdowns.
How do you
The
trust
5
that?
touchdowns.
That's like a Mike Evans stat line. Like 2 catches,
It
with
is, dude.
4 touchdowns.
Yeah, the quarterback version of that game last year. Yeah,
I'm not trusting him.
Yeah, I'm on the bust side here for Jameis Winston. I think this was more fluky than anything. I do believe that Jameis Winston is pretty talented and he will have good games throughout the season. But if we all know Jameis Winston of old, he was very up and down on a roller coaster. The week you think you can trust him, he'll flop. When you don't think you can start Jameis Winston, like against the Packers in week 1, he'll drop 5 touchdowns. So I don't trust him just yet. I would like to see more of Jameis Winston. Second to last quarterback here, Jared Goff. Is that a name you expected to hear on Trust or Bust week 1? 34.92
You're
points,
making this list probably.
57 passes. He threw the ball 57 times, 338 yards and 3 touchdowns, only 1 interception. Did add 14 yards on the ground as well. Can you trust Jared Goff at all right now? After
I
that
wanna
solid
hate.
performance?
I
I
think it's
really
like
wanna
garbage
hate.
time.
I mean, if he's throwing the ball 50+ times a game because the Lions are going to have to, then if he keeps up production like this, he might be a nice bench stash.
Yeah, I can't hate on him. He looked good. He just looked
did.
good.
He looked all right. He looked pretty solid, even with the weak weapons he has. He dumped the ball off a ton. He threw 20 targets combined to the 2 running backs of those 57 passes. So,
I like that.
but they're able to get downfield and make plays happen. So I can't hate on Jared Goff after 34 points. Definitely not plugging him into my lineup. He's
No way.
worth a speculative bench ad at this point and be like, maybe he'll be good again with the throwing the ball this much against bad defenses in the future. But
That's how he was in LA.
yeah.
You just kept him on the bench.
Yeah, but in LA, he had a good defense. He didn't have to throw as much. Now he's got to
And
throw
he
a
had
ton.
much better weapons on offense.
Yeah, much better. Way better. Matt Stafford showed us what they can do. All right, last quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. Despite the weird, awful game for them, he still managed 25 solid fantasy points. He did throw the ball also over 50 times, 51 times, 332 yards, 3 touchdowns. The 3 interceptions hurt his numbers too. And he did only carry the ball once for -2 yards. So that really didn't add
Is
anything.
that even a carry or is that a sack?
I think he tried to roll out and got sacked probably. I don't know. Trust or bust for Trevor Lawrence as your QB.
Definitely looks good if you draft him as a backup. Still a little hesitant on plugging him into my lineup as a for sure starter week in and week out, but the 3 touchdowns is a good sign. The Jags are going to have to pass to keep up with other teams, but the 3 picks is kind of what scares me.
Yeah.
Dude, he was running for his life.
Speaking of the rushing yards, I don't know if you guys knew, but Vince, our friend Vince, had made a bet on Sunday. He said it was the second biggest bet ever that Trevor Lawrence would rush for 18 yards.
Oh no.
He was 20 shy.
Bad John. Very bad John.
How do you miss 18 yards by 20 yards, you jackass?
Yeah, he did not run at all. Even though he was running for his life, he did not run forward. Not trusting Trevor Lawrence just yet. Definitely, this offense just looks too shaky. This team looks shaky. This was against the Texans of all teams, and he threw 3 picks. I'm scared to see what happens against a good defense for this Jaguars offensive line and just offense as a whole.
All right,
BJ Rob.
Where do you trust him more? In your fantasy lineup to get you a win or to lead your team in the NFL to a win?
Probably the NFL.
Yeah,
Fantasy.
probably the NFL.
Probably fantasy.
All right. Oh, see? Okay.
Probably fantasy.
All right.
I think if he was on the Eagles,
I'm taking fantasy too.
he's
The
winning.
Jags got blown out by the Texans, and he put up a good stat line.
Yeah.
The Jags
I don't know.
just suck.
How are you going to trust him to lead your
I'm not
NFL
blaming
team to the
him.
Super
I'm
Bowl?
You want him to
I think
play
I'm blaming more the
linebacker?
coach
No, not
right
to the
now.
Super Bowl. Just a
Like
win.
throughout
Just
the
one
throughout the
win.
preseason.
Just a win?
Yeah.
Oh,
Throughout the
Fantasy.
preseason,
Yeah, it's-
Urban
yeah, it's-
Meyer was splitting his snaps with Gardner Minshew, making it a quarterback competition when you took this guy at number 1
Yeah, it's some
overall.
college shit.
Like,
and
why
now
are
where's
you
Gardner Minshew?
in Philly? Exactly. Why are you playing games with Trevor Lawrence? Get him all the snaps you can. Get him as ready as you can for week 1, and clearly none of them were ready. So I'm not putting this all on Lawrence. I'd rather trust him to win my week and the NFL as my quarterback. I just don't like his coach.
all right.
Coach sucks.
All right, let's move on to some running backs. Let's talk about the Lions running backs. Can you trust both of these guys? DeAndre Swift, 24.4 points. Right before the game, they reported he wasn't going to start and that he was going to be like the second fiddle here. But again, that seemed to be cap. 11 carries for 39 yards, 8 catches on 11 targets for 65 yards and a touchdown. And then Jamal Williams, 25 points, 9 carries for 54 and a touchdown. And then another 8 catches on 9 targets for 56 yards. Both of these guys went bonkers. Can you trust both? Is there one you're trusting more right now? Trust or
I
bust
think
on these guys?
You can trust both.
You could
Jamal
definitely
Williams,
trust
we knew he was
both.
good.
Trust Swift more because obviously down the line he's going to be the clear-cut starter. But I mean, I could easily see Jamal Williams having like a Nyheim Hines role of last year, where they look to get him involved in the passing game. Swift's still going to be involved in the passing game. That's why I'm putting him ahead of Williams. But they both definitely have value in fantasy right now.
They're like the Dollar General Browns running back duo.
Yeah, I was
Those are
about to say
startable.
something similar to that. 49ers defense did not really contain them, especially late, but both of them look good. I'm starting Swift with way more confidence, 100% trusting him.
Let's
Jamal
just check.
Williams, I'm still like, I want to see it happen a couple more games when he's not the starter and Swift's the starter, and I want to see what the volume looks like. If it's still close to this 50-50 split, definitely in on him. He's still got 9 targets in this game, so it's definitely worth rolling out there again next week if you have him, if you're looking to plug in a running back. All right, next one here, Josh Jacobs, 17 points. Someone none of us really liked through going into this season, as we talked about him. 10 carries for 34 yards and 2 touchdowns, and only 1 catch for 6 yards on 2 targets. Is this trust or bust here for Josh Jacobs?
This is nothing new. This is
Bust.
just touchdown dependent
That's it.
Josh Jacobs. That's it. He happened to get his 2 touchdowns.
Take away the touchdowns, he has 5.7 points.
Yeah, but why are we gonna take him away? You got
Yeah, that I was just
But I
gonna
mean,
say that.
he's
But, like,
not going to score 2 touchdowns every single game.
Yeah. I'm not taking him
if they're in
away.
that position.
I'm not taking him away from him. He did have 17 points. And if you started him, you're 100% happy.
yeah.
That's what we saw with Josh Jacobs last year. He was touchdown dependent a lot last year. Although they're going to use him in the red zone. That's clear as day. But Kenyon Drake also had the same amount of touches, with 5 being receptions. So I'm not 100% sold on Josh Jacobs owning this backfield, as well as being a solid running back. I mean, he averaged 3.4 yards per carry. Obviously, the Ravens are a really tough defense too, but the 2 touchdowns help. If he's going to keep scoring touchdowns, he could be the Garrett Blunt of old, where you just keep plugging him in. He just scores. He's not going to get the yards. It's not going to be pretty, but he's going to get you the fantasy points you need. But I do see him still as like a touchdown dependent RB2 for me right now. I'm not 100% sold on Josh Jacobs.
Good thing you can't take away his touchdowns because he got them.
He got him. He did get him. I can't knock him for that.
Guarantee he scores below 10 next week.
Oh,
10 touchdowns?
I like that.
He's
10
gonna score
touchdowns?
10 touchdowns next week.
Dude, I mean, he would score below 10 a lot of weeks if he did not get the touchdowns. And he has at Pittsburgh next week. So
Below 10.
He'll do better than Saquon did. Oh, wait, no, he didn't play it.
He did not play the Steelers. Singletary had 11. All right, next running back here, Melvin Gordon, Smelly Melv, looking
He's
good.
fucking back.
11 carries for 101 yards and 1 touchdown with 3 catches for 17 yards on 3 targets. Is this trust or bust here for Melv?
I'd be
Javante
trusting.
who?
I'm
I'd be trusting.
not trusting yet.
Why?
Because he likes Javante Williams.
Because all of those yards came on 1 carry where the defense broke and he got a long carry against the Giants. I'm not seeing that happen every week. I do like that he was involved in the passing game more. I'm definitely still more confident starting Melvin Gordon right now than Javante Williams, but I'm not 100% sold on him. He still only had 14 touches and only 3 targets. I just can't fully sell myself on Melvin Gordon running for an 80-yard touchdown.
Well,
every week.
I'm going to tell you that he just bought himself a couple more weeks as that being his backfield.
I mean, Javante Williams did have more carries, 14 carries for 45
his
yards.
yards. 45.
Okay, he didn't break an 80-yard run. Melvin Gordon was not efficient
talented
until
enough.
the last,
Not
until the
talented
one long run. We'll see. But I'm not fully sold on Melvin Gordon right now. I'm not trusting yet.
I trust.
If he keeps breaking these runs, I gotta trust, but I'm not trusting yet. I don't think he's Derrick Henry. I don't think that's happening multiple
Okay,
times.
no one said that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, he's not gonna break these long runs every week. I want to see what happens in a normal game where that doesn't occur.
All right.
Normal game. That's
Normal
like taking
game.
away Josh Jacobs'
Right.
touchdowns.
What's
Can't
not
do it.
normal?
I'm
got
not trying
him.
to take it
He
away.
got
He
him.
got the long run.
He got it.
No one started him. Now everyone's
He's
going to
playing
start him, and
against
I
the
think he's
little
going to
Giants.
disappoint everybody. All right. Another running back here from last year that we talked about a lot, Leonard Fournette, 10.9 points, ended up getting the work after Rojo fumbled, 9 carries for 32 yards, and he did get 5 catches for 27 yards on 7 targets. That's what you like to see. It's this trust or bust here for Fournette.
I can't
Trust
trust either
as in
one of them.
starting them? Can't start them.
Can't start him.
Can't start either of them.
The only
Mhm.
running back their role is Gio because he's not the starter or the second string.
He's just going to be the third down random guy. that
Yeah,
comes
you
in.
know what you're getting out of him, but it's going to
Nothing.
be a roller coaster all season, honestly, between Fournette and Rojo. I mean, Fournette's clearly still going to be involved in the passing game, seeing that he had 7 targets on Sunday or Thursday, rather. But still, this is going to be like a 50-50 toss-up week in and week out.
Definitely with you there, Matt. Not trusting Fournette yet. Another group of running backs I'm probably not trusting, the Texans running backs. They were
Brandon
up big
Monster.
this week. Mark Ingram had 14.5 points on 26 carries and only got 85 yards on those carries. But he did score a touchdown. David Johnson, 11.8 points, also scored a touchdown. And Philip Lindsay, again, also scored a touchdown. So they all had at least
Monsters.
8 points. Are you trusting any of these guys? What's the deal with this whole
No.
weird
Bro,
trio of running backs?
You can't tell me they didn't look good though.
They looked okay.
Not good enough for me to start like,
Bro.
Against the
single one of
Jaguars, and they're all getting this weird volume mix of work. I'm staying away from
No,
the
yeah,
Texans
I'm
right
definitely staying away, but it definitely caught me off guard. Like I did not think that
now. Oh no.
it would
I-
be like that.
If you told me all 3 of them would score a touchdown before that
I would
game,
laugh in your face.
I would have left in your face. If someone bet that parlay out there, you probably made a good amount of money.
No one
Browns,
did
so
that.
much money.
No one did that.
Not a soul. That's insanely bold. All right. Another running back that surprised Eli Mitchell. We talked about Sermon, but Eli Mitchell looked good. 16.4 points, 19 carries for 104 yards and a tutty. Trust or bust on the rookie 6th-rounder.
Trust him for now. I
Yeah,
mean,
for now until they
he was the
decide.
backup.
49ers like to run the
out.
ball.
What, Q?
49ers do enjoy running the ball, so there's that upside, but we don't know who the number one is.
Yeah, I don't think we
there's gonna
will
be
know.
one. Yeah.
When's the last time that the 49ers have had a true number one?
Frank Gore.
In 1980,
Most certain when he's not made of glass,
which was
Which
never.
is when.
which is never. But when he's on the
So
field, he is number one.
1980, Frank Gore.
Yeah, well, in all reality, I hope Mostert gets better. But also Eli Mitchell, I'm trusting for now. Obviously, you can't 100% guarantee he's going to be the guy, but he's definitely worth a pickup, worth a look. And even if you're desperate, if you had some guys that really struggled that we talked about earlier, I'll plug in Eli Mitchell all day.
The most recent was Carlos Hyde.
Oh yeah, he was okay. He was all right. That was before Shanahan too. All right, another running back here before we get into some wide receivers. Kenneth Gainwell of the Philadelphia Eagles had 12.3 points, 9 carries for 37 yards, 1 touchdown, and he got involved in the passing game a little bit, 2 catches for 6 yards on 3 targets. Trust or bust here for Kenny Gainwell, Kenny G.
It's not a bust, but Boston Scott, for whatever reason, didn't play, and he's definitely going to be above Kenny Gainwell.
Yeah,
So.
I agree. And if he didn't get that touchdown, we wouldn't even be talking about him right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say bust for now.
And
Someone I'm
take
keeping
the touchdowns away.
not taking the touchdown away,
Yeah, but
but I'm keeping my eye on him.
I took it away.
Ooh.
sorry, it's gone.
It's gone.
Oh, Josh Jacobs is still there.
He has 2. He's going to take 1.
Kenny G, I mean, he's definitely going to see a little bit of work because last year we saw how the Eagles like that backfield rotation just like everyone else. I don't get it. Run, booby, run. Just feed him. But he's going to get the fair share. Enough to start? No. Enough for a bench spot? Just to
No.
handcuff maybe Miles Sanders? Yeah.
Yeah, in a deep bench or deeper leagues, he's worth a look. But for now, or dynasty for sure, he should definitely be on.
I don't know, because Booby's still the guy. He's young, too.
He's not that young though.
Yeah.
Running back shelf life
What do
is
you wanna
like
be,
average
18
running
years
back is
old?
like 2.5 years at most, like, and then like the higher end gets like 4 or 5. So we shall see with that. But yeah, I'd still own Kenny Gainwell in dynasty. He's a rookie, so he's
I
got
bet
a
in
whole
4
career
years
ahead
that
of him.
Kenny Gainwell is not on the Eagles.
Okay, but he still could be in the NFL.
Yeah, you're right.
Whatever. We're not a
Maybe-
dynasty podcast. Don't pick up Kenny Gainwell in your 10 and 12 team redraft leagues. Keep an eye on him.
Maybe
Put him
the
on your
32
watch
team
list.
league.
Oh, shit.
All right. Also, Bart, if you're watching, you should have started boobs.
Should have started boobs.
Big boobs.
All right. Debo Samuel getting into some wide receivers. 31.9 points, 9 catches on 12 targets for 189 yards and a touchdown. Costly fumble, but still a great day at the office. I guess I'll talk about him here because I was hype on Debo. I had him ranked over Ayuk heading into this week, and y'all called me crazy. I was nervous about the hamstring. Not going to victory lap that one too much. I really hope Ayuk is involved. I want him to be more involved than 0 targets and 0 catches. But Debo looked really good. This is what Debo can do when he's healthy. The only reason Debo was ever falling in ADP was because of his health. So need him to
still
stay on the
effective.
field. If he stays on the field, he's going to be involved. He looked really good, quick, explosive, but it is the Lions. So we'll see what he does against the Eagles, who shut down the Falcons this week. That's a wrap for Debo
just
Samuel.
move
I can't say nothing.
I don't
dude.
want to say anything.
I was waiting for you guys to say something, but
I
no,
got
he looked good. He looked good.
He did look good.
You look good. Start Debo Samuel this week if you have him.
soak it in, because when he pulls something in his leg,
Let's
I'm
hope that
starting
does
him this
not
week.
happen.
Don't let it happen this week.
All right. Next wide receiver here, another boom or bust guy, Tyler Lockett, 26 points. He had 4 catches on 5 targets for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Is this someone you can trust weekly in your lineup or not?
You never trust them, but you start them every week.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
honestly.
literally facts right there. That's exactly how you explain it. 5 targets, not enough volume for you to be 100% confident in him every week. We saw him get 5 targets a lot last year, and when he doesn't catch that long pass, it looks like 2 or 3 catches for like 30 yards.
It is the typical Lockett stat line.
Yeah, it's one of the big Lockett weeks. Keep rolling them out there because they come and they can really help you win your weeks, but be prepared for the weeks where he disappears.
Down.
Be prepared. Just strap in, put the seatbelt on, get yourself ready. All right, let's move on to Corey Davis, looking like the wide receiver one we all wanted him to be 5 years ago. 5 catches on 7 targets for 97 yards and 2 touchdowns. Is Corey Davis someone you can trust in your lineups every week at this point?
Definitely.
I'd say so.
Yeah. I'll admit I was wrong on Corey Davis.
Yeah, I was also probably too low on him heading into the season. He looked really good, and Jamison Crowder was out, so that obviously opened up a little bit more volume. Eli Moore did not do much at all, so it looks like it's going to be the Corey Davis show when Zach Wilson's airing it out.
Yep.
I'm trusting Corey.
I'd be trusting on him.
Be trusting him.
And the Jets are another one of those teams where they're going to have to throw a lot to keep up in games.
Yeah, no doubt.
Zach Wilson, not Mahomes, but he's capable of throwing the ball. So
Yeah,
Corey
his
Davis
arm
is
does
first.
work.
No, I mean like he's gonna be able to.
He looked better than
score
Josh Rosen.
points.
Oh,
Yeah.
Josh Rosen, dude.
All right, another wide receiver here, probably available in a lot of leagues as well. So if you still haven't had your waivers go through, someone to keep an eye on. Sterling Shepard, 7 catches on 9 targets for 113 yards and a touchdown. Trust or bust?
Q.
I
Q.
will give you your flowers. Here they are. You were right.
You've
ever
been
since
trusting him
last
forever.
season.
I'm tired about being right about him. Just believe. And he switched his number to 3. That's a little weird, but
Yeah.
definitely is he might be the number 1 on this team. Kenny Galladay is. Well, he's also just coming back from injury, but Shepard is the guy for now.
Shepard's
And
had at
Ingram
least
was also out.
Shepard's had at least 5 targets in pretty much every game in the last 3 seasons, except one where he had 4, and he has at least 7 in the majority of those. The volume's there every time he's on the field, and Daniel Jones is a guy that's not going to air it out all the time, and Shepard's a safety blanket.
Yeah, he needs to lose the name Danny Dimes because he's not capable of throwing any dimes.
Sorry, Danny Nichols. Yeah, Sterling Shepard. I'm flexing him this week, so I'm trusting him. All right, Antonio Brown, wide receiver, Tampa Bay Bucks, 24.3 points, 5 catches on 7 targets for 121 yards and a tutty. Trust or bust here for AB.
Oh boy, am I
He's
trusting.
back. He is back.
He
Me
may
and T
be
guys
like
both talked about it.
a league winner for
And
lots of
future
people
is
this year.
approved.
Yeah, 7
Swing 'em.
targets.
Swing him, Q, please.
I need him to regain Pittsburgh value before I swing him.
Jesus. You'd be
He looked
trading him
good.
for McCaffrey.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
he looked like vintage AB. I'm back in on him. Trust in AB.
Yeah,
No
Tom
doubt.
Brady
for sure.
changed that man, and he is back. And this is the one thing Bruce
He's
Arians
like a
says,
father figure.
he did not cap. He did not cap when he said AB's playing like he did 4 or 5 years ago. He looked like it there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm back in on AB. Now, talking about the Jaguars wide receivers, we got DJ Chark, who had 17.6 fantasy points. We had Marvin Jones, who had 18.7 fantasy points. And we had LaVisca Chenault, who had 12.9. So all 3 of them were actually flexible this week. Which ones you trusting? Which ones you busting? Are they
Go
all
Marv.
flexes?
Go
I'm
Marv.
Still going with Marv.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they all had at least 9 targets. So when what's his name throws Lawrence throws the ball 51 times, the ball's going to get spread around enough where you can trust them all. I'm still on the Chark train, but I'm trusting all. Like right now, I think they're all worth a flex. This team's going to be down and throwing a ton. We'll see who emerges more as the true guy, but as right now, it seems like they're all trustworthy as a flex option.
I would have probably been up $5 by now if Tim Tebow made the team because he's easily catching 5. He was only supposed to get 2 catches for me to win the bet. He would have easily gotten 5 and maybe a touchdown.
Yeah, 100%.
Now he's just watching.
Yeah. Wait, why am I saying 100%? Team Tebow sucks. I was already moving on to the next guys here. The Boomer Bust crew. Christian Kirk had 24 points on 5 targets. Mike Williams had 22.2 points on 12 targets. So he actually got a lot of volume there. And Q's favorite guy in the world, Nelson Aguilar, 18 points on 7 targets. Which one of these three are you trusting the most moving forward?
Mike Will. I said it before the season, and I'm going to stick to it. When he's on the field, he's going to put up points.
Just disagree.
I do like Mike Williams a lot, but Nelson Aguilar is the one on that team.
He holds your heart.
But
what happened to AJ Green?
He was there, and he almost scored a touchdown. He almost scored a touchdown.
He did get like 6 targets, but I think he had like 2 catches.
He's back.
Mike Williams is the one for me I'm trusting the most just because of the volume. 12 targets. Jay Herbo is looking for him. Seems to be more involved. As long as he's on the field, could be a solid flex play. All right. New kids on the block. Some guys that really haven't been fantasy relevant in the past. Let's start with Jalen Reagor, had 16.9 points. Deandre Harris, Saints wide receiver, had 15.2, although he only had like 2 targets, but did catch 2 of them, and one was a bomb for a touchdown from Jameis Winston. Jalen Waddle, 16.1 points, and KJ Osborne, 14.6 on like 9 targets for the Vikings. Super weird. Which one of these 4 would you trust the most right now moving forward?
Do I have to pick one?
You don't have to. If you don't want to trust any of them, you don't got to trust any
I
of
don't
them.
want to trust any.
If I have to pick one, it's going to be Waddle.
Yeah.
But I really don't trust any of them because, I mean, once Will Fuller comes back this week, Waddle moves a little bit down on the depth chart, and all the other guys are already probably like wide receiver 3s on their respective teams. So Waddle will be the best moving forward, but all of their ceilings are capped just because of like how many mouths there are to feed on their offense.
Yeah. For right now, they're all bye-week flex plays at best right now. Like, not someone you really want to plug in after one performance. You want to see this become something consistent before you can trust them. So maybe worth a bench spot. I'd probably prefer Waddle and Reagor over the other 2 just because more volume. But I mean, actually, KJ Osborne has some good volume, but I don't see that happening again. He's still number 3 in a Kirk Cousins passing offense. So he actually is such a weird story. Last year, he played all year. And he was like a special teams guy and had like 2 targets all year, and then gets 9 targets in the first game in the slot. What's going on there?
Maybe they like what they saw in the offseason.
Maybe. All right, let's move on to some tight ends before we get into Q's trivia. Noah Fant, you got favorite player in the NFL. 12.2 points, 6 catches for 62 yards on 8 targets. So you guys already talked about it.
Fluke, dude. It was a fluke. The loss of Judy definitely does help him, though. I think he'll finish like tight end like 13 instead of 15 now. But, bro, I'm still not. This means nothing. This means nothing to me.
I'm trusting as long as he's healthy right now. For how scarce tight ends
are,
I
do trust him.
I'm putting him in my lineup.
I do trust him. And that's surprising for me to say because, like we said earlier in the pod, Teddy Bridgewater is like the king of keeping it safe. And when there's nothing open downfield, who's he going to? Noah Fant.
Yep. So Noah Fant and Sutton for me now.
Yeah, he's going to be a safety blanket. So the volume is going to be there. You see that with the 8 targets. He could easily see that every game. And, yeah, I like Fant a lot more now than I did coming into this year. And like T-God said, the loss of Judy definitely helps.
Who are you starting Fant over? Like, give me some names besides like the big ones.
Are you starting him over
Tunyon?
He's
I would
definitely over Gesicki. 100%. I'd probably consider starting him over Higbee.
Tunyon, I don't know.
Tunyon is where he's like, that's where I'm ranking him in the Tunyon range.
That's
like 7, 8, 9 ish area is where I'm probably going to rank.
You want to see a non-fluky Packers game where like they're all gelling.
Yeah.
Where they score like
more than 28 points.
Yeah. Would you start Fant or Gronk?
Fant.
Yeah.
Even I was
really
Fant.
Even Q said Fant. Oh my god.
Wow. Okay.
I still think Gronk. Well, let's talk about Gronk. He was our next guy to talk about anyways. 29 points, 8 catches for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. Huge game. But it was the Cowboys. They do get the Falcons this upcoming week, though. That's pretty much the Cowboys, too. But Gronk, trust or bust for me. Come on. I was not trusting him all last year. He still finished outside the top 12 last year, even despite being pretty solid. Or he was like around 10 to 12. I forget. Gronk's not my guy right now. Huge game for week 1. He'll have a few of these this year. but I think he's going to be unpredictable. I think he's still the fourth option on this offense.
He is definitely the fourth option, unfortunately, but there isn't much better.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for a guy with touchdown upside, Gronk's your guy.
I really don't think the fourth option is even bad for this team. I don't think.
I need to see. I don't. He's not going to throw 51 times every week, though. That's what I'm
You
nervous
might
about.
not be the fourth option every single week.
Yeah. Dude, I don't think they're going to have to throw that much this upcoming week against the Falcons. Might be a first half game. They might bring in the backup in the second half just because the Eagles can go up 32-6 or whatever it was. Tom Brady's going to go up 70-6.
I hope. I mean, I'll take that first half.
But the second half's just going to be Ronald Jones. No, I'm just kidding. We'll see. I can't fully trust Gronk yet, but I'm trusting Fant over him right now. Last tight end here, Juwan Johnson, 17.1 points, 3 catches on 3 targets for 21 yards and 2 touchdowns. So for me, cannot trust him. Feels like Josh Jacobs at tight ends.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I have no idea who this is.
Tight end for the Saints.
He caught 2 touchdowns.
I talked
No
about him in the
idea.
preseason when you guys mentioned Adam Troutman. I said, don't sleep on Juwan Johnson. He catches 2 touchdowns in the first game.
I was going to bring him up when we were talking about Callaway.
Yeah, he looked good. Obviously not that much involved. And I think Troutman had played also and actually got a pretty good amount of targets. They just couldn't get on the same page. Troutman's going to be involved as well. So I'm not trusting him until I see him become like a really focused. I think it was more just like the touchdowns are going to make people pick him up. But he's worth a speculative bench ad for me.
When I wanted to take touchdowns away, you guys tried to crucify me, and now all of a sudden we're just taking everyone's touchdowns away.
Let's just stop saying that because I were picking and choosing when we would take touchdowns away.
No, I'm saying they're probably pretty fluky to get 2 on 3 catches. So you don't see that every week.
That's Mike Evans.
Exactly, Mike Evans-esque. But he will be a red zone target. He's worth a speculative ad. But Troutman, the other tight end, also had 6 targets. So. All right, let's get to Q's trivia before we get out of here. Q, how many questions you got for us?
Unfortunately, because of the week that I'm having, there's only one.
One quick trivia question.
I'm sorry.
Q's going through it. All right, Q, what do you got for us? Let's wrap it. Let's get out of here then.
All right. So these 2 players have the longest consecutive streak of games with 20-plus points being 8. Can you name one of the 2?
Longest consecutive. Are they active streaks or?
Wait, can you?
All right, so active streaks, so they go into last year. They're not quarterbacks.
And not quarterbacks.
So they've had 20-plus points in 8 consecutive games going into last year included.
20-plus points.
For 8 games straight?
One might screw you over, but don't
Is
think
it
too
only the past 2 years?
Well, past 8 games. Or
They're,
the past 8
the
games
players
they
past
played.
8 games.
Yes.
Players
It's
past.
not quarterbacks.
No,
not
quarterbacks.
QBs.
So the last 8 games that these 2 players have played, they've scored 20-plus points.
I want to write this guy for the second guy, but what you said makes me not want to do that because I might
Can
get
I
screwed
ask
over.
one more question? You don't have to. It might spoil, but I don't know.
No. Go ahead.
Are both players the same position?
No.
Okay, that's what I
That
figured.
helps a lot.
And it's
It
20-plus PPR points.
Does this include week 1?
It's just the last 8 games they played. Yes, it includes week
So
one.
it can
Yes,
include this week.
It includes this week.
Okay.
So,
I didn't want to make sure this isn't from like last year, like
no.
because I'm like, all right.
Just
This
don't
is
think
so
too
hard.
hard. Don't
Yeah,
think
this
too
is so hard.
I have
thought way
one.
I thought way too hard.
And I'm surprised that they're not quarterbacks.
I'm gonna be really pissed off if it's the other one because I'm torn between 2 guys and I'm gonna be
I easily don't have either.
All right, so if someone gets this right, should we say this now? Do you get an extra point? Since I only said 1.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
get a point if you get one of the guys. You get
you
1
get
point.
2
You get
for
2
both.
points if you get
Okay,
both.
okay.
Let's agree on that before we.
Yeah, right.
Whatever.
Before we come trying to chop heads.
We're
cute.
learning. We're learning.
Whatever. I'm writing it and I'm pissed. You know what? And I'm not doing it. I'm switching. Oh my god, if it's one
You're
or the
gonna
other,
fuck
dude, I'm
yourself.
gonna be so
Wait.
scared.
Let me get like 15 more
All right,
seconds, please.
I'm ready. I locked it in. I'm gonna be so pissed if it's this other guy. I'm gonna punch my computer screen.
Yeah, one might be a little twister.
I like to hear that because I think I got it. I hope.
I don't I don't have it.
All right, I'm going for one answer here.
All right.
All
I
right.
should just throw 2 down just in case.
I put 2 of the same position. It's got to be 1.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. 3, or I'll just name them to you. It is
Okay.
Travis Kelce
Fuck.
and Christian McCaffrey.
Yes.
I got Christian McCaffrey.
I got McCaffrey too.
Any.
Just to proof.
That's why I asked, was it this season?
I said
and last
Darren
season?
Waller.
But I
Yeah,
also
that's
think the mind fuck was the Christian McCaffrey because they were like broken up, and
Yeah.
actually his would have gone like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
damn. Kelsey's got 20 points in.
And you wanna know who
Who do you
has-
have instead of Waller?
I had Tyreek Hill as the other one,
You want to know who's?
but I
had it
figured
in-
he had a down game somewhere.
Someone has had it in 3 consecutive games,
Who?
and we've talked about him on this podcast.
20 plus and
20
three
plus in
consecutive?
3 games in a row.
Uh,
I'll give you a hint. It's a wide receiver.
okay. 20 plus in 3
Antonio
games
Brown?
in a row.
No.
Oh.
Is this actually for points or is this just for fun?
Just for fun, because he just threw an answer out.
I don't know. 20
Trust
plus.
me, we talked about it more than 3 times.
Debo.
Definitely not Debo. DJ
What?
Chark.
No, it was Sterling Shepard.
Oh yeah, he's
Oh
elite.
my. At least I got a point. I'm happy I got a point.
I thought it was Darren Waller because his last few games have been nuts, but a couple of them were under 20. He had 26.5 this week. And at the end of last year, he finished with 26, 16, 30, 14, 45, but then 6.
Gee.
But the 6 was week 12. I was going backwards. So his last 7 games have been nuts, but they weren't all 20 plus like Kelsey. All right, that's a wrap. That's it for the week 1 recap. We will be back on Friday with our week 2 preview, ready for some more football. Make sure you're following us here on Twitch. If you're watching, throw us a sub on YouTube as well. We're on Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts. Our podcast will be there. Also on Twitter at Super FB Podcast or Instagram, at Super Fantasy Podcast.
Excused.
And TikTok as well at the Super Fantasy Bros. We will see you guys next week. Peace.